Welcome you all. In this session, we are going to discuss in detail about the timing diagram in Intel 8085 processor. Outcome. After successful completion of the session, the student could able to illustrate the timing diagram for various instructions for Intel 8085 processor. Timing diagram. It is a graphical representation of execution of an instruction by the processor. The execution time is represented in terms of T states. Before moving to the timing diagram, first let us discuss the parts of instruction. Instruction, it is the command which direct the processor to execute certain task. Example, move A, B. Here the operator is move and the operand is A and B. The source data on which instruction to be operated, that is what we call it as operand, and the operator means the operation to be performed. We call them as the operator. So here in this operation, move represents MOV represents the operator and A and B represents the operand. Now let us classify the instructions. The instructions in Intel 8085 can be classified into three: single byte instruction, 2-byte instruction and 3-byte instruction. Single byte instruction or 1-byte instruction, here it includes the operand and the operator are same byte. That is, here see here, move C, A. Here it is a 1-byte instruction. Add B, HLT. These are some examples for 1-byte instruction. Switching to the second type, that is 2-byte instruction. Here the first byte specifies the operation and the second byte specifies the operand. Example, MVI A, 32H. Here MVI A takes the first byte and 32H takes the second byte, and the second byte will be a 8-bit data. So if suppose if you have a 16-bit data, then the first 8-bit comes 1 byte and another 8-bit takes 1 byte. On total it goes for 3-byte instructions. Okay, so whenever an instruction has a 8-bit data, so it comes under the 2-byte instruction. Coming to the third type, that is 3-byte instruction. See here, LXI H takes 1 byte, this 20 takes the second byte and 50 takes the third byte. So on total it is 3 bytes. So all the instructions in Intel 8085 processor can be classified within these three. It may be a single byte or a 2-byte or 3-byte instruction. So now we are coming to instruction cycle. So the time required to execute an instruction is called as the instruction cycle. Whatever may be the instruction, the time required to execute for a particular instruction, we call them as the instruction cycle. Machine cycle, the time required to access the memory or input IO devices, they call them as a machine cycle. So now, so as I told already that in timing diagram they are represented in terms of T state. So now you need to know what is a T state. So it is the time corresponding to one clock period. So one clock period means it has a fall and a rise, both the things. So from here, this edge to the next corresponding that edge, it comes under the one T state. Say for example, see if you take these two dotted lines, so it starts from a falling, so then it has a rising, then again just before the falling the cycle ends. So the falling edge is called as a negative edge and the rising edge we call them as a positive edge. So the relation between the frequency and time, as we know, they are inversely proportional to each other. So here comes the timing diagram. So a timing diagram represents the fetch, decode, execute. All these three operations will be represented in that diagram. So for all that machine cycle, so there are some 5 machine cycles in Intel 8085. All the machine cycle, so if you see any instruction cycle, if you take, you have the fetch cycle be the first, then the execution cycle takes place. So this is how the instruction cycle will be. Okay, so this is just a sample cycle. So now In opcode fetch, you can see 0 1 1, isn't it? So the same value which is here for opcode fetch, you have 4 t states, whereas for memory read you have only 3 t states. So that's the only difference. And the next machine cycle is memory write machine cycle. Here instead of read you have write machine cycle. That is the only change here you have. The next one is IO read machine cycle. So in IO read machine cycle, similar to the memory read machine cycle, no changes will be there. Three t states will be there, you have read. IO write means here instead of read you have write. So here the write cycle is at the top, and the IO slash M bar S0 S1 is at the lower position. You can rearrange, no issues. But anyway, the clock must be the first one. And for execute a timing diagram for instruction, I have coded. So for here I have taken move immediately B comma 34. So 34 is the data that need to be moved to copied to B register. So this is the instruction. So here you need a fetch for all the instructions. The first machine cycle will be opcode fetch. So the same opcode fetch machine cycle, it has 4 t states that need to be coded. Once you draw that, next the second cycle, here it is memory read. So the memory read cycle is plotted. So this is how you need to plot the timing diagram for various instructions of Intel 8085 processor. Hope you understand the concept. Thank you.